See, one of the questions that always comes up among Hindus is, Krishna loved butter, so why are you telling me not to eat butter? Krishna loved butter. He was raised by a cowherd. So how can you tell me not to eat butter? Are you not going against Krishna? Krishna also lifted a mountain with his little finger. How many of you do that every day? Yeah? Do you do that? No? Krishna was dancing on the hood of a seven-headed snake. How many of you do that? The stories of Krishna are so beautiful. The stories of Krishna are all symbolic. So he lifted a mountain with his little finger and he sheltered the people of Gokul. What does that mean? It means that if you have faith in Krishna, he will shelter you from the trials and tribulations of life. So you don't have to worry about life if you have faith in Krishna. He danced on the hood of a seven-headed snake, which means he overcame the seven chakras. He opened his seven chakras. See, he overcame fear, guilt, shame, grief, lies, delusions and attachments. Those are the seven chakras. So if you see any depiction of Krishna dancing on the hood of a seven-headed snake, you will see him playing a flute. Because the flute has seven holes that are open. And through that he can play beautiful music. So, what does it mean that he eats butter? What is the symbolism of that? Because you cannot take these two stories as symbolic and then the last story is literal, right? There's some marketing going on there. Someone is using that to convince us to eat butter because they're selling butter to you. So, what does it mean? Milk is symbolic of the fluid mind. So, milk is the fluid mind that has doubts about God. To that you add curd, which is the thought of God. And then you let it curdle in your mind. And then you churn that, you get butter. Butter is the solid mind that has no more doubts about God. It's the mind of a devotee of God. This is why Krishna loves butter, because he loves the mind of a devotee. Then you take that butter and you refine it. You get ghee, which is the clarified solid mind that has no more doubts about God, which is an enlightened mind. This is why we use ghee in all our aratis. We use ghee because it signifies enlightenment. What does enlightenment really mean? What does it mean? What does it mean to be enlightened? People think enlightened means that you are in bliss all the time. You have a big smile on your face and you're always happy. Right? But enlightenment really means that you see things as they are. You see things as they are. You're not deluded by anything because you're seeing things, seeing reality as is. So, what does ghee today represent? Ghee is one of the most contaminated substances. It's not the fault of the cow. We have poured so many chemicals into the environment. Industrial chemicals are going up in the air, coming down in the rain. It's being absorbed by plants and it's everywhere. So our plants are full of these industrial chemicals. And our cows are eating those plants and they're storing all these chemicals in their bodies. So all these chemicals, a lot of them are lipophilic. Lipophilic meaning they stick to fat cells. So when the cow is producing milk, the fat cells in the milk come with chemicals, toxic chemicals. And then we only isolate the fat cells to make butter. Now they are full of toxic chemicals. And then we refine that to get ghee, which is pure fat, purely filled with toxic chemicals. And then when we burn that and we offer it to Krishna in the arati, you are saying, Krishna, would you like some dioxins, some chemicals with you? You don't want to do that anymore, okay? That shows this lack of enlightenment, lack of seeing the reality as is. In the same way, you see, in our pujas, in the Hindu pujas, we actually use a coconut, especially in the south. Okay, we use the coconut. In fact, I remember going and doing this puja every week with my mother. So she would always offer leaf and a flower and a banana, a fruit, to God. So she would offer leaf, flower and fruit, and then she would break a coconut. Okay, every Friday she used to do that. So the leaf represents our body, the flower represents our mind thinking of God, and the fruit represents our soul, or Atma. So we are offering our body, our mind and our soul to God, and then we break the coconut, which is our ego. So we break our ego, and out spills the coconut water, that is the fluid mind that has doubts about God. And what is left is the coconut fruit, that's the solid mind that has no more doubts about God. And if you take that coconut fruit and you refine it, you get coconut oil, which is the refined solid mind that has no more doubts about God. So it's exactly the same symbolism as ghee. So if you use coconut oil in your arati, then you're actually offering something meaningful to Krishna. So we have to do that. We have to start veganizing all of our rituals, knowing the symbolism of the rituals. So veganism is completely compatible with Hinduism.